Hello, and welcome to My Way or the AI Way, the podcast where we explore interesting ways to use AI in life and business. I'm Scott Davison. I'm a business and marketing consultant, and I'm on a mission to master AI. So I've been challenging myself to start using AI for everyday tasks and to see where it's able to improve things and perhaps where it's not quite ready yet. Now, as I mentioned, I'm a business and marketing consultant. That's what I do for a job. But I'm also a single dad with two young kids who are 3 and 6. So as you can imagine, during the weeks where I have the kids, then parenting is pretty much my full-time job. And like all busy parents, I'm always looking for ways to do things more efficiently or better. So for this episode, I wanted to share 3 ways I've started using AI to help with parenting. Specifically, what I'm talking about today is ChatGPT, which is probably a good entry point to using AI if you haven't started yet. ChatGPT is a bit of a jack of all trades. So if you haven't done so yet, I'd encourage you to download the app. That way you've got it on your mobile phone and you're more inclined to be using it more frequently because it's right there on your phone. Personally, I'm now using ChatGPT for many of the queries I used to use Google for. And in many cases, perhaps in most cases, I'm finding it to be a much better experience. So here are 3 examples of that. These are 3 things I've recently started using ChatGPT for that are making life easier as a parent. Number 1, bedtime stories. My kids are still quite young, 3 and 6, and they're very much in the habit of reading stories as part of the bedtime routine. Now, luckily, both my kids love books, so they'll happily sit down and read by themselves for a while, or they'll sit with me and read, and we'll read some books together, which is a great bonding experience. But anyone who's had young kids will probably relate to this scenario, which is it's time for lights out, you get them into bed, and they want one more story, Dad. Now, previously, I was sort of making up stories that I would tell them while they were lying in bed. But to be honest, I was starting to run out of stories and imagination. So I started using ChatGPT, and it's actually been really great fun. Firstly, you can ask ChatGPT to create a story that features your kids as the characters, or you can ask it to construct a story with the types of things your kids are into. So in my case, my son Luca, he wants stories about dragons, zombies, and monsters. Whereas my daughter Sienna, she requests stories with unicorns, princesses, and cats. No surprises there. So I could ask them to choose what they want the story to be about. And as they're doing that, I'll be typing it into ChatGPT, as well as any other additional instructions I want to add, such as the length of the story, keep it to 3 minutes, or any guardrails perhaps. So make sure it's not too scary, make sure it has a happy ending, etc. And then bang, like magic, ChatGPT will spit out a customized story that I can read to them in bed before they go to sleep. So this is definitely one of the benefits I've found of AI. It's this ability to have highly customized requests. And I think this offers, to be honest, a lot of potential in the childhood education space because it can be far more interactive and customized compared to traditional books. Are the stories as powerful as the classic children's books that we all grew up with? No, they're probably not there yet. Some of the plots are a bit weak, to be honest. But the customization, the specific instructions, and the fact every night can be a completely new story, that does provide some abilities that weren't previously possible. So perhaps the best way to demonstrate this is to give you a quick demo. So I'll take out my mobile phone. I'll open up the ChatGPT app. I use the voice prompt, so I just hit the microphone. Here we go. So please give me a short bedtime story for a 6-year-old boy called Luca. Let's make Luca the main character. Let's include a dragon, a monster, and a zombie. Make sure the story is mildly scary, but with a happy ending, and will help put Luca to sleep. And let's do it in the style of Dr. Seuss. Thank you. And then we plug that in. Here it goes. It's generating a story. And this is short enough, I'll read it out to you now. So, Luca and the Lurking Horde, a spooky but sleepy time tale in the style of Dr. Seuss. One night as young Luca was snug in his bed, a creak and a groan filled his room full of dread. He peeked from the covers, he shivered, he shook, then slowly he dared to take one little look. The window swung open, the curtains blew wild, and out from the darkness, so creepy, so vile, come zombies, oh no, with their moans and their groans, with rattling teeth and with chattering bones. They wobbled, they wiggled, they dragged through the door. Luca thought, "Eep, I don't like this no more." But just as the zombies began to creep near, a roar shook the ground, so mighty, so clear. Through the chimney, through the smoke, through a flurry of fire, a dragon swooped in, looking fearsome and higher. His scales burned like embers, his eyes full of glow, his wings made the curtains whoosh to and fro. The zombies all gasped, and they turned with a start. Their plan to eat Luca had fallen apart. The dragon stomped forward, then let out a snore. Not scary at all, just a loud, sleepy roar. "Oh, bother," moaned zombies. "We can't stay for tea. If dragons are sleeping, we'd best let you be." They grumbled, they shuffled, they shambled away, and Luca jumped up with a hooray, hooray. The dragon curled up on the floor by his bed, and Luca patted his great sleepy head. "Thanks, Mr. Dragon, for helping me fight. Now let's both go snore for the rest of the night." So Luca lay down, feeling safe and content, and off into dreamland the 6-year-old went. For dragons and zombies don't matter one bit when a brave boy like Luca sleeps soundly in it. The end. There you go. So, like I say, perhaps not a replacement for the original Dr. Seuss just yet, but it's a pretty cool feature, and it's only going to get better. And I think there are use cases where this is actually a much better solution than a traditional book. Okay, one final tip, which we've started doing more lately, are choose your own adventure stories. So you can request one of these and it will provide a customized choose your own adventure story, which is another really interactive way of getting kids engaged with the story. So not necessarily the best for bedtime stories, but it's a really cool idea that we've been playing around with a lot recently and having a lot of fun. Okay, let's move on to number 2. My second favourite parenting hack with ChatGPT, meal planning. Now, this is another challenge for many parents, trying to come up with ideas for meals. In my case, I have the kids for a week at a time, so I like to be prepared with a meal plan for the 7 days. And both my kids are on a gluten-free diet, and that can be quite challenging, and they're not currently eating meat. So I've tried prompting ChatGPT with these instructions, please give me some meal ideas for kids that are gluten-free and vegetarian, things I can easily prepare at home and provide a healthy, balanced diet. And yeah, I was super impressed. It immediately spat out some great ideas that provided inspiration. And you can then ask it to put those ideas into a 7-day meal plan and perhaps provide a list of ingredients. And there's your shopping list taken care of. Alternatively, you can perhaps have a list of ingredients, give a list of ingredients that you have in your fridge or in your cupboard. You tell those to ChatGPT, and it will prepare ideas and recipes based on those ingredients. So again, that's a level of personalization and interactivity that far exceeds what was previously available on Google, for instance. And, the recipes so far, in my experience, have been very good, very easy to follow, and I'm finding it much easier than Googling a recipe and then having to scroll through a long blog post, avoid clicking on annoying pop-up ads just to try and find the actual recipe. This is much quicker and much easier in my experience. So, ChatGPT has basically replaced Google for me in terms of meal prep and recipes. So if you haven't tried it for that yet, I think that's another good way to give it a go, and I encourage you to give it a try. Okay, number 3, another very common parenting challenge, gift ideas. We had a 4th birthday party to go to last week, and we needed to source a gift at the last minute. Surprise, surprise. So I pulled out ChatGPT and gave it a prompt telling it the age of the girl, her interests, and the budget. And immediately it spat out a list of potential ideas, which again were actually really helpful. So I think this is currently one of the best ways to be using ChatGPT or similar LLMs such as Claude or Gemini. It's for brainstorming ideas. Many of us are working from home these days, so it's not as easy to sort of be bouncing ideas off colleagues in the office. But I'm finding ChatGPT to be a fantastic thought partner, especially for business. For example, I'm launching a new podcast about AI. Help me come up with some creative names. We can talk more about that example in a future episode. Or, I need to write an email to clients with some holiday travel ideas. Give me a list of 5 popular holiday destinations, etc. Cynically, I guess you could say it's making us more stupid by not having to think for ourselves. But in terms of brainstorming, that's an activity that's better done not by yourself. And I'm finding ChatGPT can be a really great thought partner for this activity. Now, if you want to get really advanced, you can even program it to take on different personas. So you could have, Bill, your black hat, glass half empty kind of guy. Or maybe you've got Priscilla, your positive glass half full lady. And you can really start to get a range of thoughts and ideas from different perspectives using just this one tool. So if you haven't tried it for that yet, that's another great way to start using ChatGPT for brainstorming. And that's it. That's a quick summary of 3 ways that I've been using ChatGPT as a parent. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening to this. This is a very new podcast. In fact, this was the first full episode. I've got a couple more episodes in the pipeline, including some interviews. So please hit subscribe and keep an eye out for those, which will be dropping soon. Thank you for joining me on this journey to learn more about AI. I'm Scott Davison, and this is my way or the AI way.